Big shout out to all the people who have supported Tablemon on Patreon in June. Those extra dollars that you support with really make a big difference. If you'd like to get featured in the July videos, check out patreon.com/Tablemon. Generally, every single dollar helps, guys. Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2019. I'm now bringing you one of the most requested decks that I've gotten so far. It is essentially a Dark Toolbox deck that features Darkrai and Umbreon GX. So at 270 HP, it's a really nice, powerful tag team as we've come to know them for now. Black Lens does a really high amount of damage, dealing 150 and 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon GX or EX, so not the greatest against non-GX decks, but 150 is still a very solid number. And against any GX decks, you are able to move damage around or place damage on your opponent's Pokemon and make sure that you set up for future turns. And then with the Darkrai GX attack, which costs a single colorless, your opponent can't play any trainer cards from their hand during their next turn, right? So essentially you get a full unlock, which is really, really powerful. And if this Pokemon has at least 5 extra dark energy attached to it, the active Pokemon gets knocked out as well, along with the trainer card block. So really powerful attack for 6 energies. You essentially one-hit KO anything, so you can one-hit KO an opposing tag team, which is just the same as Reshizard would need to KO an opposing tag team, right? But you get the benefit of limiting all trainers, not just Titans, but also supporters, tools, everything, yeah. And paired with Darkrai Umbreon, we have a couple of other tag teams that I'm not going to describe right now. The main partners for Darkrai and Umbreon GX are Weavile GX, yeah, with its ability Shadow Connection. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a basic dark energy attached from one of your Pokemon to another. So it's essentially free energy movement. We have seen abilities in the past like this one in things like Aromatisse and Venusaur. But Weavile GX definitely gives you a lot of flexibility, because when you combine it with Sharpedo, yeah, Sharpedo essentially has an ability that is almost like a better Max Elixir. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach any number of Darkness energy cards you find there to this Pokemon. So a really, really nice ability to have, especially in a deck that wants to attach a bunch of extra energies at once. Yeah, so really, really useful ability to have, because combined with Weavile, you get to move the energy around to the right Pokemon. You also have Darkrai Prism Star with its ability. You can bench it and immediately play 2 energy. So you are trying to play to the build-up game. And the fact that this deck does require 2 stage 1 lines really limits the space in terms of what you can use essentially for healing, right? A lot of tag team decks right now really want some healing, but unfortunately this deck is just so filled up and bulky that it gets really, really difficult to fit everything in. We have Ditto Prism Star to help with the 2 stage 1 lines, but unfortunately there's no more Nest Ball and there's no more Ultra Ball, so we can only rely on Pokemon communication, which we do have a high enough amount of Pokemon in this deck to rely on it. But you do have to shuffle a Pokemon back in, right? So it's essentially, to accomplish the same thing as a Nest Ball, you need 2 Pokemon in your hand. To accomplish the same thing as an Ultra Ball, you need 2 Pokemon in your hand, or 2 cards in your hand, the communication and a Pokemon rather. So kind of tricky, but not impossible. We do have a Dedenne for support, and then we also have 2 other tag teams, right, to give the deck a bit more flexibility. We have Zoroark and Greninja GX, which with its attack, Dark Pulse, dealing 30 damage plus 30 more for every darkness energy attached. Also has synergy with Sharpedo, also has synergy with Weavile, and can do a lot of damage after Darkrai and Umbreon GX has used its ability, right? After it has used its ability, not its ability, sorry, its GX attack. It's a nice way to follow that up, but it does take a lot more energy to get a 1-hit KO than the 6 that Darkrai and Umbreon needs. So that's why we only run 1 copy. The GX attack probably very inferior to Darkrai and Umbreon's GX attack, so not gonna be focusing on that. And we also have a Mega Sableye and Tyranitar GX as well. So the highest HP so far on attack team, 280 HP, which is really nice. We have Greedy Crush, which deals 210 damage, and if your opponent's Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX is knocked out by damage from this attack, you take 1 more prize card, which is really, really nice. Of course, combined with the Dark Spear residual damage, 60 plus 210 is a 1-hit KO, or is a KO on pretty much every single tag team out there. There are none that resist dark, so it is a 1-hit KO on every tag team. So you essentially get 1 more prize card by doing so, which is really nice. Or if you manage to Greedy Crush like 2 Detenes or something, then you would win. But as mentioned, the deck space is so tight for this deck that we can't fit in custom catchers, unfortunately. And we also have Gigavolt GX, which deals 250 damage. And if this Pokemon has at least 5 extra energy attached, so for a total of 10 energies, you discard the top 15 cards of your opponent's deck. So probably not going to be able to pull that off anytime soon. There are other ways to build this deck, such as with Nagnadel and B-Strings instead of the Sharpedo. Nagnadel gives you excuse me, late game recovery, and also you have the possibility to B-string a ton of energy into a deck. So there are different ways to build this. This is the first draft. I have not tested this, so yeah, disclaimer. This is also a mistake. We shouldn't be playing Lysander Labs with U-turn board. That should be a switch. I'll probably edit that in post recording this. But yeah, in terms of supporters, we're trying to keep it consistent for Lily, for Cynthia, Tuerigas, and for Pokegear to make sure that we are constantly drawing cards every single turn or every other turn. We have Pokemon Communication and Cherish Ball maximized in order to search for GXs, but also try to find those key basic Pokemon such as Nizel and Carvanha that we do want to set up early enough. We have double Reset Stamp, pretty much a staple in every single deck at the moment. And we have triple Lysander Labs to not have to deal with annoying tool cards like Choice Helmet, like Spell Tags, and we have the single Black Market, which if you manage to win a Stadium War and the Black Market sticks, your tag teams are now worth 2 prizes rather than 3, which could be very significant. And the combination of a Reset Stamp plus a Black Market could actually be really powerful. Now we also want a bunch of stadiums in order to counter power plants that our opponents might play, purely because they stop Weavile from working, and therefore it makes everything a lot more awkward. So I would love to have healing in this. I would love to have a different way of energy acceleration, or energy recovery rather. I would love to have switching cards, but having all of that and keeping things consistent seems really difficult. So that's why for now I think this deck won't be too great, because just requires too much setup. Like if you get everything out, it's probably really powerful, but getting to that point is going to be really difficult. Of course, I need to test this. I need to refine the list, work on it to make sure that it's up to par. This would be my first draft. Yeah, I would sleeve this up, sit down, play some games, and then adjust as we go. Yeah, just by doing the video, I can see that switching cards are probably the first priority, so that you have more maneuverability with Weavile's ability, right, to using, like if you can't heal your big tag team after it took a hit, at least switch it out to the bench without losing the energy, right, and use a different one to force your opponent to go custom catcher, KO that, but you keep your energy in play. Or if they attack the active, well, then it's like you healed, kind of, right? So yeah, guys, that will be all for this Dark Toolbox deck. I really appreciate all the suggestions that you guys leave in the videos. Right now, we are all learning the format, yeah. So I don't think there's an 100% set way to build a deck to say this deck should not run this or this deck should 100% run this. We are all finding those flexibility spots, and until someone has logged in, I don't know, 1,000 games of of the new standard format, I think it's really hard to say. Or to talk in terms of this should or shouldn't have X card, right? It's all about adjusting, flexibility, and especially because when you sit down at Worlds, you won't know what your opponent will be playing. You won't know what testing process they went through. Therefore, what you think is a standard or a staple in deck building for this new format, someone else might disagree, or they might have something different that you hadn't thought of or that you hadn't considered. So that's why this new format is super, super interesting. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you want to support on Patreon on July, check out patreon.com/Tablemon so you get a nice shout out in the beginning of every video in July. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye bye.